Republican candidates vying to become the party's presidential nominee are campaigning in Iowa despite record low temperatures. The state will be the first to vote for the nominee, and Donald Trump is still leading the pack for a third run at the White House. Our Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen's braving the cold in Iowa, and she's finding out what the voters are saying.
Candidates have spent the final day of campaigning here in Iowa, trying to get to as many events as possible while battling the extreme cold. Here in Waterloo, the temperature is now around negative 26 degrees Celsius. It's set to get to negative 28. That's not including the wind chill factor, which can knock off another 10 degrees at its peak. And tomorrow it's expected to be about the same. So this is set to be one of the coldest Iowa caucuses, potentially the coldest Iowa caucus on record since this became a fixture of the political calendar in 1972. Donald Trump's been in the state. He had to make his first appearance at virtual town hall because the weather was so challenging. He's been out today encouraging his voters to make sure they do attend a caucus location. Their concern is that his supporters might become apathetic given the polling has had him at such a significant lead in Iowa for so long.
So brave the weather and go out and save America, because that's what you're doing. This is really about saving our country. Remember, your caucus location is often different from where you normally vote.
Coming up behind Donald Trump is South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, the key issue here is who is going to be the number two and be the one that could potentially knock off Donald Trump as this campaign progresses. These caucuses, though, happen in small events across the state. The Iowa GOP says it's about 1,600 different locations across the state. We're talking school halls, we're talking auditoriums, town halls, sometimes farms, people's homes, bars, even a gun shop's been used for an Iowa caucus location before. So these are small trips that people need to make, and then they all get together in that room and cast a private ballot after candidates, representatives can make their case of why you should support their preferred candidate, and then this vote happens. This is the first in the nation vote. This is the first chance for momentum. And while the Iowa caucus doesn't have the best predictor of who goes on to become the eventual nominee or indeed the president after this race, what it does do is knock people out. If you haven't got the momentum by now, you've got a tough race to run, and it's hard to get those donors on board to sustain this level of campaigning. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis have been working to cut into Donald Trump's lead, and some of the latest polling has Nikki Haley coming up as the second behind Donald Trump, and very much the lead when you look at polling that compares potential Republican candidates to Joe Biden, who said he is running again for the Democrats.
I'm not worried. Look, I'm not a political pollster. I'm not going to worry about the numbers. What I am going to say is the momentum and the energy on the ground is strong. We feel it. We know that this is moving in the right direction. And to me, the only numbers that matter are the ones that we're going up and everybody else went down.
We've got a huge number of people that have committed to caucus, and we expect that these are the people that turn out. So there's a lot of excitement on the ground. We're in this for the long haul. We understand that you got to win a majority of the delegates. We understand that there's a long process here, but we're going to do well because we've done it right, and our folks are going to turn out.
We've been out in Davenport today speaking to voters at a gun show who attended despite the very cold weather, and here's who they were saying they were interested in.
I'm a Trump guy through and through, not for his actions, but how he handles policy in foreign countries and the economy. He needs to put his Twitter down, but other than that, I mean, otherwise I'm probably a Nikki Haley.
I'm hoping that just because they hear that, you know, the polls are high for one person or whatever, that they don't show up because they think it's going to be a shoe-in.
I was going to be the clearest indicator yet of who is likely to be the nominee for the Republicans on the ballot in... Okay. After tomorrow evening, we'll have the best idea of how this extreme weather has impacted turnout and what that means for the nominee for the Republican Party heading into the election this coming November. Annalise Nielsen, Sky News in Walcott, Iowa.